Biomolecules. Most of the biochemical processes that take place within cells make use of large molecules that form when smaller compounds are joined together by chemical bonds. These very large molecules are known as macromolecules. Living things need four main kinds of macromolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. All these macromolecules belong to a class of compounds known as organic compounds. Organic compounds are composed of molecules that contain chemical bonds between carbon and hydrogen atoms. Carbohydrates. You may know that foods such as pasta, bread, and fruit are rich in carbohydrates. If an athlete pasta loads, that means they consume a lot of them to get energy before they compete. Carbohydrates are organic molecules that are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, usually in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. Sugars, starches, and celluloses are examples of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the primary energy source of most organisms. Glucose, for example, is the sugar product produced by photosynthesis. This sugar is the main source of energy for cells. Other carbohydrates provide structural support for organisms. The simplest type of carbohydrate is a simple sugar, such as glucose, galactose, and fructose. The chemical formula for each of these sugars is C6H12O6. However, these sugars differ in how the atoms are arranged. The word saccharide means sugar. A carbohydrate can be a simple sugar or two or more simple sugars that have bonded together. Each carbohydrate molecule contains many carbon bonds. Organisms get most of their energy by breaking these bonds. Food containing only or mostly carbohydrates provide quick energy, but the energy is also used up quickly. Therefore, the energy is only stored for a short amount of time. Proteins. Proteins are a large organic molecules composed of mainly of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Proteins are made of smaller building blocks called amino acids. An amino acid is a carbon compound. Amino acids join together to form chains. There are about 20 different amino acids that can join together in a tremendous number of combinations. The bond that holds two amino acids together is called a peptide bond. Proteins are essential for all life. Each protein molecule has a characteristic three-dimensional shape. The sequence and arrangement of amino acids determine the shape of the protein and its role in the cell. Some proteins are structural. They serve as building and connecting materials of living things. Collagen, for example, forms bones, tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. It also helps your muscles grow and develop. Other proteins are functional and play a role in chemical reactions and the transport of materials. Examples of functional proteins include hormones, antibodies, and enzymes. Enzymes help speed up chemical reactions in the body. And I am involved in helping to make these antibodies for your immune system. Lipids. Lipids are organic molecules composed of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Lipids differ from carbohydrates in two main ways. First, lipids have carbon-hydrogen bonds and fewer oxygen atoms than carbohydrates. Second, lipids do not dissolve in water. Fats, oils, and waxes are types of lipids. In animals, most lipids are fats. Lipids in plants are usually oils. Waxes are made up of long-chain fatty acids attached to an alcohol called glycerol. Lipids have two main functions. They are used for long-term energy storage and they insulate and waterproof the organism. For example, cutin is a waxy material that coats the leaves of some plants and helps prevent loss, water loss. Phospholipids make up the lipid bilayer of cell membrane. The phosphate polar head is hydrophilic or water-loving, and the nonpolar tail is hydrophobic or water-hating. Nucleic acids. The information that is passed from one generation of cells to the next is stored in nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are large, complex molecules made up of smaller molecules containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. The smaller units that join together to form a nucleic acid are called nucleotides. A nucleotide is made up of a molecule of sugar that contains five carbon atoms, a nitrogen containing base, and a phosphate group. Nucleic acids store and transmit information in the form of a code. The two most important nucleic acids are deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and ribonucleic acid, RNA. Genetic information is stored in DNA. Information stored in DNA is then translated by RNA and used to direct the production of proteins. A mutation in DNA initially starts in the nucleic acids. DNA consists of two strands of nucleotides that spiral around each other. Chromosomes contain long strands of DNA, which stores hereditary information. RNA may consist of a single strand of nucleotides or a base paired nucleotides, and RNA plays many key roles in the manufacture of proteins.